With days left before the U.S. presidential election, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump have been campaigning in the western battleground states of Nevada and Arizona. Kamala Harris has put the issue of abortion front and center of her campaign, characterizing this election as a fight for women's freedom. Donald Trump has also been campaigning in a state he narrowly lost in 2020. He appeared on stage with the controversial former Fox News host Tucker Carlson, where he doubled down on unfounded claims of election fraud in 2020 and emphasized the need for a wall along the southern border with Mexico.
And I said, we're going to do this thing. We're going to do it again. And we're doing well. I mean, now we're going to know in 4 days. But we're doing very well. I think we're leading by a lot. And if we can keep them, if we can keep that cheating down, because they're a bunch of cheats, if we can keep that cheating down, we're going to have a tremendous victory. I think it'll go down as one of the greatest victories of all time. So we're going to have an exciting time. We're going to have an exciting time. Well, I think it hurts Kamala a lot, actually. Look, she's a deranged person. But the reason she couldn't stand me is that she always wanted to go to war with people. I don't want to go to war. She wanted to stay in Syria. I took them out. She wanted to stay in Iraq. I took them out. I mean, if it were up to her, we'd be in 50 different countries. Then, go a couple of years forward or go now. And I don't blame him for sticking with his daughter, but his daughter is a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. When the guns are trained on her face. They're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy. But she's a stupid person. And I'd have meetings with a lot of people, and she always wanted to go to war with people.
I am an actor and an entertainer, and I like Hollywood endings. I like when the good guy, or in this case, the good girl wins. You can't even spell American without Rican. This is our country too, and we must exercise our right to vote on November 5th.
And we need you to vote Nevada, because we have just 5 days left in one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime, and we have work to do. But we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work. And make no mistake, we will win. We will win.
Kamala Harris, and before her Jennifer Lopez, who's supporting Ms. Harris, and of course Donald Trump. Well, for more on the upcoming U.S. ballot, I'm joined now on the line by the Republican chief strategist Errol Morkoc. Good to see you again, Errol. We're just listening to Mr. Trump there talking to Tucker Carlson and alleging that potentially they're going to be cheaters in this election. I mean, and sort of doubling down on what he said, those unfounded claims of election fraud in 2020. I mean, that doesn't inspire, very much confidence in a man who's wanting to be the president of the United States, does it?
Well, I think Donald Trump is speaking, number one, to his base. That was a very late night rally, and he's speaking very candidly with Tucker Carlson. And let's just stop and remember that 2 days ago, 161,000 ballots were almost duplicated and counted in Michigan if it wasn't for Laura Trump, the chair of the RNC, who found that and stopped that. We have a situation in Michigan as well of a Chinese student who has voted illegally, but the way that ballot tracking goes, they don't let you track the ballot back for the safety of the voter, and so that ballot will count. So when Donald Trump speaks of cheating, he speaks in the broad spectrum, whether it's fire in the drop boxes, or whether it's intimidation, or the poll workers in Pennsylvania who closed down the Bucks County poll early. The governor, Josh Shapiro, the Democrat governor, was forced to reopen it a day later because of this. So I think these are the types of cheating he's speaking to, and he still personally doesn't believe that the 2020 election was above board. And honestly, 60-70% of our voters don't believe that, and half of the country think that there was serious questions around the election. Now, whether or not that's actually going to be what we put down in the history books or not, before an election with attempted fraud in different situations, it's not unexpected for Donald Trump to do that. And he's in the pole position, so him questioning the legitimacy of the election probably isn't the smartest thing to do when it looks like he's going to win. If he's saying the election's going to be full of cheaters and he wins, it's going to be a little bit contradictory. But that's Trump. That's how he speaks, and I think everybody has to take it with a bit of a grain of salt. What he means in cheating is a broad spectrum cheating, and it's not maybe talking directly to some conspiracy of the Democrat Party behind closed doors. And with the real cheating escapades that have happened in the last few days that have been stopped, also ballots have been found strewn on the highway. They've been found in the back of, and these are small isolated incidents that have been caught, which is good. What hasn't been caught, we don't know. But definitely the confidence in the voting machines, for example. You had the one in Denver where it went viral, and they even said it's real. Now you're pushing on the wrong part of the screen, it votes for Kamala. They couldn't replace it, but they had to take that machine out of circulation. And these are the fears that the American people have after a very low confidence election in 2020. We want to make sure this one is high confidence. And Donald Trump, I don't think personally has a lot of confidence in the system, and maybe he's revealing that.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll leave that at that for the moment. But I mean, the two candidates have been holding competing rallies in swing states, battling for those undecided voters. But I mean, we're just 4 days to the election. Do undecided voters still exist?
That's the $1 million question. I'm inclined to say no. I really don't think there are very many. Donald Trump, I went to New Mexico, which is a D+5, Democrat +5 state, probably the farthest away from a swing state we could have in this election. So at least he's reaching out on this last punch for any maybe undecided voters there. He's making a push for the popular vote. That might be one way for your viewers to look at it. Well, we expect to win the Electoral College. We want to have that psychological mandate. And so keeping that push out there, getting every vote in, even if you're in a state that is going to go the other way, or it's a tight one, but you think you might lose, you might get out there and vote. On the other side of things, Kamala Harris just has a tough time right now because it's all about the low propensity voter. The core base of the Democrat Party, the core base of the Republican Party, the MAGA wing, the AOC wing, these people will come out in droves. The question is, how about those apathetic people, the people who were sitting back home on their couch who weren't going to get up? Well, Joe Biden called them garbage on one side. That might motivate them. And Trump said some things that might motivate the other side to get up off the couch, whether it was, well, not him, but that comedian. You might get some last minute people who come in from maybe some personal reasons that have come in the last minute, but I really don't think there are many undecided voters. I think everybody's kind of made their mind up, especially regarding Donald Trump. It would blow my mind if somebody still doesn't know who they're voting for.
And we know that obviously you, Errol, have made up your mind. Just tell us a bit more about what you've been doing yourself in your role in this campaign.
Well, I've, beyond the spokesperson role and going around and doing public speaking and debates and different television shows, I've also done some phone banking. We in Republicans Overseas UK, we are a voter organization. So if you go to our website, you can, whether you're a communist or a Republican, whatever you are, we help you get a ballot. So we've been trying to get people to the polls from overseas. We have 1.9 million Americans abroad, and granted, 80% of them are going to vote Democrat, but we are an American, charitable organization in that concept. So we've been trying to get voters on the roll. But in my capacity as, a surrogate for the campaign, going around trying to evangelize the message, kind of bring anybody who's lost left into the fold. But really, it's been a 4-year slog while we've built this ground game. I've been with people registering voters on the ground in Florida a couple years ago. Kind of wherever I could lend a hand between my career and and this, which is my passion, I've done. And the thing is, it's not just me. There's a lot of people like Scott Pressler, people who've really put in that ground game, dedicated, a lot of their life to it in the prime years of their life. And that's why we've been able to make these inroads with early voting and with turning the tide on total registration. It's been the grassroots effort. It's been people like me times 100 who've put in way more effort, who's given way more than I have. And so you're seeing the culmination of all that work. And we're all very proud, regardless of how this goes, that we all stepped up and did our part.
And we've got less than a minute or so left, Errol. Always really interesting talking with you. But I mean, there have been quite a lot of reports coming through suggesting that this has been quite a divisive campaign. I mean, would you have liked to see a blurring of the tone on your side as well as on the other side?
I mean, maybe in a synthetic world, yes, it would be ideal statistically, but in the real world, no. And after they took those shots at President Trump, after the attempted assassination attempt, I think everything changed. The gloves came off for both parties. People who never put a Trump sign up in their yard put a Trump sign up in their yard in blue counties, and I think the divisiveness and everything ramped up. And while everybody might say they want to see something calm down, that's the will of the people, the song of angry men, and certainly it's been heard, and crowd action and being engaged civically. I mean, that's a passionate thing, and if people care and they really care about their country, it's a positive, even if it might break a few hearts in the short term. As long as there's no violence, it's a positive thing for the country. It's healthy. We have to tear each other apart through political discourse, not through physical violence.
And on that note, I want to thank you very much indeed, Errol. Errol is the Republican chief strategist, and he was talking to me on the line there from the United States.